Hi, everyone. Kelly here. Today I have Homero Valdez from Fantastic Piano Studio. And Homero and I are going to be talking about how he built his international online studio to create a much more sustainable schedule for he and his family. So, Homero, before I go any further, can I have you do a quick introduction? Just tell us a little bit more about you and your program and who you teach.
Thank you, Kelly. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. So my name is Homero Valdez. I'm Fantastic Piano Studio, actually the owner of it, and I'm living in Mexico. And I'm basically teaching international students both in Mexico and also in the United States mostly. Well, I usually work with kids mostly because those are my ideal students. But honestly, I work with different ages from 8 years, 9 years, and even 4 years and a half online completely. And also I have some adult students as well.
Fantastic, fantastic. I know your studio has a really wide array of ages and ability levels, which is fantastic. But when we first met, part of the reason that we wanted this international academy was because you actually used to work and live in the US and you studied here, and you
Mhm.
felt really called to be teaching students here still. Is that
Mhm.
pretty accurate?
Yes, it is. Actually, I was living there in San Antonio, Texas for about 12 years. And I was working there. And because of personal reasons, I had to come back to Mexico. And I started working here. But then, the pandemic hits and everything changes.
Yeah.
Everything changes. And then the piano academy that I work at just closed and started online. And the income was not enough here. So that's what I was thinking about options of teaching online and eventually teaching United States again online.
Awesome. Awesome. So when we first met,
Mhm.
this was, a few months ago, obviously, but you had been teaching online for a while. So you felt pretty confident that that was
Yeah.
what you wanted to be doing. We had some
Mm.
experience. I think we all had some experience
Yeah, we
at
all get
that
some
point,
experience.
kind of forced upon us, but we'd all been teaching online for a while. What do you feel makes your program unique in this online instruction and how your studio functions in this kind of international system?
You know what? It's kind of funny that you mentioned that because when I first started teaching online, and I was actually making some Facebook campaigns to get some students online. And at one point, I came up with another piano teacher who was asking a little information, but just out of curiosity because he said the name Fantastic was catchy a little bit. So, and he said that I was the first person he met that was teaching online exclusively. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, this is actually kind of difficult. Yes, it is true. And it is also because I learned how to use different tools to make it a little more attractive piano instruction. Well, maybe many people actually, I don't know, maybe they're teaching that in college right now, but when I was in college getting my master's degree, they never told you how to use online tools because they never thought about the pandemic hitting. So eventually, after a year and a half, I started getting some online tools about music reading, games, etc., that are very attractive to my student piano teaching online. So I think that was actually quite successful, and it's been quite successful also how to attract attention. Some parents actually have told me that it's interesting how the kids are, or I'm getting the attention to kids online because they're very distracted. But when they look on the screen and I put some games, colors, and everything, that's what makes my studio also unique, and that's what I'm learning actually over this past year and a half.
Awesome. That's awesome. I know that you're so passionate about finding these additional resources and tools for your
Oh
students to
yes.
enjoy their lessons, that it's not just, obviously your students are very talented and they
Mhm.
perform beautifully, but also that it is engaging and exciting. And part of this,
Mhm.
I think, is also influenced by the fact that you have your own children and
Yes.
you're so you're able to kind of experiment with some of these things and learn what they like and don't like. But it's exciting to see online education done at a high level like this, where it really is exciting and engaging for students that are involved.
Mhm.
So when we first met, you
Mhm.
had been teaching online for a while and you already had a lot of these things established. You had a lot of great resources and tools. Students were enjoying their online lessons,
Mhm.
but we were running into some problems in actually finding additional students, correct? So what did
Yes.
that look like and what were we frustrated by at that point in time?
Well, we started back maybe 8 months ago. Prior to that, I already had some piano teaching experience online, and I was trying to look at my wake up call came up with my piano academy one time that I have a situation that I decided to start building up my own studio, and that was actually a year and 3 months ago. And I decided, you know what, I need to start making my own studio, but then my own studio. So I started experimenting with some Facebook campaigns, as I mentioned before. So, and I was looking for some programs, and I found one here in my country, and I decided actually to take it. It was actually quite good, but I really wanted to migrate to United States, because I speak the language, I taught there, and I knew the culture, so I feel more empathetic with those international students there. So I decided to migrate there, and when we first met, actually, you know that actually we had some similarities between the programs, but that program was based on campaigns on Facebook. I was getting a student, but not as many as I wanted. It was quite successful, but not as much as I wanted. So yeah, actually, some students that I have still in my studio are coming from that part. But to be honest with you, once we started working together, that number went up like 2 times, 3 times, honestly. So yeah, so that was my prior experience with campaigns.
Got it. Got it. And you kind of mentioned too, you were working with another program. So while all this is happening, you're trying to build up your own private studio. You're spending money that you're making at the other piano academy on Facebook ads and paying for Facebook advertisement campaigns. And then at the same time, like trying to balance actually beginning your own studio and figuring all those things out. And it's a lot, it's a
Yes.
lot to balance all of this. So when we first met and started talking about this more organic method of marketing and finding students, not through paid advertising, but through, especially for you in your case, a lot of social media, right? Since we are abroad. What were some things that you had tried other than the Facebook campaigns? Had you tried any organic marketing? Or was this all new to you, this idea that we could be using Facebook without paying for it to find students?
Honestly, the main concept of referrals was actually completely new for me. I never thought about it. And that was actually the newest thing. Besides that, there were some other common things that I found into programs, but this main goal of working on referrals was completely new for me. And when I watched the videos, and it started making sense to me that the referrals are pulling more students or prospects. I know that eventually at one point, everything will depend on me because both programs are to get prospects, but not students completely. So I need to make trial lessons, etc. So, but getting the attention to referrals, but that was the newest and most effective, I think so.
Awesome. Well, when we say effective, obviously things have changed a little bit for you now in the last
I
few
would say a
months.
lot. Yes.
So when we first met, I think we had about 9 students in the studio that had come from these Facebook ads over the past, probably like 6, 7 months that you've been paying for those ads. In the last 8 months, you and I have kind of talked about this really slow and steady progress that we've taken. One of the biggest hurdles that you've had in the last few months is that you are still working for another school, plus you also teach at a local university. So you've got a busy schedule as it is, and we're trying to find students to fill very specific time slots in your schedule to keep things flowing. So how has this evolved for you? Originally we were working a lot for other programs. What does it look like today?
Well, income and time. That's all I'm going to say. So honestly, before I was working, honestly, I'm not working more than I was working before, but I'm getting 4 times more than I was getting before. I would think that was a big change. That was a big change. And also time, because my time is more effective and I'm completely stress relieved, if you can tell. Okay, so before I was so worried about getting the payments and getting this and getting that, and it was kind of frustrating because sometimes you see that you're working so hard and you're not getting as much as I believe as you deserve. Okay, because of your experience, because of your degrees, because of everything. And now in the last 8 months, I've seen that a complete change in not only in my schedule, but in the income and time effectiveness. So it was slow, yes, I admit it, because I decided to do so. Because I know some people, like, when they start this program and any other program, actually, they start, since that maybe they don't have enough experience, they do have the degrees, but not experience. They start with some low rate or medium rate. So I decided to go for the premium. So, for the medium ones, I knew that was going to take longer. Okay. I knew that was going to take longer, but I believe actually, if you want something solid, and consistent, you need to be patient. I don't know. I have the example of the big enter companies that they never will be done in 1 or 2 weeks. They take long and long, but they're quite solid. So I decided to take that path, and I don't regret it. I don't regret it because my students are having with me for about a year, pretty much 8 months, pretty much, and the income is solid, and my time has been effective as well. Now, the reason why that I'm still working on the Piano Academy is because I've been getting more and more students on the piano with you, on the program. They now have very few spots open, and that's actually a really satisfying experience because now I'm not working more. I'm just working the same, being more independent economically because I'm not working for anybody else. I'm working for me now. And now for the Piano Academy, before I had like maybe 10, 15 students, and now I have like 3 and 4. Okay. And the rest of the spots are mine. So yes, I know it
Scaling
took me
back.
longer. Yes. I mean, it's really paying back.
That's fantastic. Well, and your schedule right now, you and I we're just kind of talking about this recently, but your schedule now, not only do you have like 3 or 4 students with this other academy where
Mhm.
you previously had a lot more and they were taking
Mhm.
up almost all of your time, but
Mhm.
your goal when we first set out was to really only have 15 to 20 hours a week of teaching and
Mhm.
have this premium rate where you didn't have to be in front of students 5, 6 days a week. You didn't have to be teaching these really long hours, but
Mhm.
you could have a very compact schedule and be home
Mhm.
with your family
Okay.
and maybe teach more in the afternoons and find students who are homeschooled in the US where we can move the time frame a little bit earlier. And we've achieved that. So now we're at about 15 hours a week of teaching.
Mhm.
Previously, we were about $1,000 US
Yeah,
in
pretty
income when
much.
we first met.
Mhm.
What are you making right now in a month on average?
Including the
Just
program
just your
students,
private studio. Yeah, just your
just my
private
private
studio.
students, in total, it's about $400. Yes. Yeah, $4,000
400 or
a month.
4,000.
4,000, sorry, $4,000. I'm still getting confused with the numbers there. Yeah, around
Yeah,
$4,000 a month now
4,000.
income. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So what does that mean for your family? I mean, I know that you guys have had a lot more time and a lot more money, but what does that look like in your daily life? What's been so exciting for you about this?
We got a new car. I think that
Oh
makes
my
a
gosh, I
big
didn't know
difference.
that.
Well, it's not brand new.
Congratulations.
It's not brand new. It's actually a used car, but it's actually quite recently. And we're thinking about getting another one. We are also saving for to buy a house. And those are the two biggest things that I think makes a lot of difference. Before, no way that we might gonna get that. And especially, Kelly, I want to mention also that this is with the current income that I have now, but I'm looking for more, okay? Because my spots are still open. And also eventually I wanna change my old rate students with new rate students and also keep working with you to get the asynchronic lessons. I know that I have still the potential to get more without working more, just taking it. So that makes a lot of changes also in my perspective. To be honest with you, we were a little bit skeptics, okay? My wife and I first, when we started program, we thought, yeah, sure, that much, I don't think so. And now that we're cross halfway up there, we thought, yeah, it is possible. So what it means for that, to have, something, a house, a car, savings for college, that's what it means for us, honestly.
I'm so excited for you and I'm so proud of you because you really have been consistent
Hmm.
in this. And it does take consistent work, right? This isn't
Oh,
like a
yes.
overnight we're going to have 1 million students in the next month or something like that, or this does take consistent work. It is your business, but hearing you talk about all these wonderful things that have happened is just so exciting. It's so
Hmm.
exciting.
Yeah,
So
it is.
let's kind of dive into that a little bit more. We've had all this success, we have this time with family, we have more income. Now we're looking to scale,
Hmm.
right? So you can kind of mention some asynchronous lessons. You talked about some possibilities of group classes. And then we also talked about replacing students on the old rate. So to kind of
Hmm.
clarify for people that might be listening, when we first started working together, you had students that were local, that were paying a significantly lower rate than your current flat monthly rate for the studio, correct?
Actually, what I meant the old rate, I meant
Mm-hmm.
the student that I got through the first campaign, the Facebook
Mm-hmm.
campaigns. Something
Got
that
it.
really helped me is that when I started working with you, I didn't know exactly what was the rate of in the United States. That's number one. Number two, once I found out, I decided to go for the premium rate. Okay, because again, my experience, I have like 20 plus years of piano teaching experience plus my a master's degree. So I really
In
wanted to,
pedagogy.
yes, in pedagogy, in piano
Yeah.
pedagogy, that's right, not only anything. So I really want to sell myself as I think I was worth it. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, and definitely that was a wake up call when the
Yeah.
program helped me really to find my own value as a piano teacher.
Absolutely.
When I started the campaigns, I got those students have no idea how much to sell my experience, how to target the right people. So I still have those students, but eventually, also over time, I want to replace them with new great students. So that's actually what I meant.
And that rate change is about 4 times.
Yes.
Your current rate is about 4 times what that original rate was that we were running off the bat.
Yes, it is. That's
Yeah.
correct.
So that'll be a big change too
Oh,
when we
definitely.
make that happen. So I'm so thrilled for you that we've had all this progress. We've added, now the studio is at about 25 students weekly,
Approximately.
roughly. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Approximately.
So we've
Yes.
added a lot of students in the last few months,
Yes.
and been very selective about who you're bringing into the studio too. For you, working with ideal students, because you've worked for a piano academy, obviously that they just kind of assign students to you, but now you're working independently and you get to choose those students. What does that feel like, knowing that it's an ideal student versus just any student that walks in the door?
That's a tough question because you need to learn how to say no.
Mm.
That's a big difference. You know, when I first started teaching piano a long time ago, okay, close to 20 years, well, you got a degree maybe in music, but you have no experience. So basically, you're open to anything. If you want to start building up your studio, basically you open to anything. And sometimes you say yes to students who really are not a good fit for you, and maybe students who you have no idea how to teach. So I think you know what I'm talking about. Then after this, when I started building up my own studio online, I started doing the same mistake. Okay, just accepting anyone because I want to build on my own studio. Some of them actually were not the best students for me, but I still want to say yes because I really needed some students. Now with this new program that I'm getting more prospects who are very nice, I had to learn how to say no, you know, because they're not a good fit. And you're right, I've been a little more selective. Okay, so a little more selective. And over time, I've been getting students who, you know, I decided no. And you know why? Because also because of the program, I've been getting prospects and prospects, meaning that I know I can say no to these students because I have 2 or 3 more referrals coming. Why should I stay
Yep.
with this person who also wants to bargain my rate, who is a little inconsistent, who is a little bossy and sad? You know what? I have some other prospects. So why not?
Yeah.
So yeah, you have to say no. And I love that. I love that because before I need to look around for students to come. Now with the program, the students are coming. I've been referred to me 2, 3 times. I mean, the last 2 or 3 months, I've been getting like 8 students out of maybe 10, 15 referrals. So it's like,
That's
hey,
awesome.
now you can say no. I mean, that's what I love about this.
Yeah,
I've been more
saying only
selective.
saying yes to about half of the students that come in is a pretty powerful statement. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I'm so ridiculously proud of you and all the work that you've put in because you've been, like I said, so consistent, but you've just really taken this seriously. This is something that you wanted and you
Mhm,
absolutely went for it. And it's incredible to see the results that you have. And I'm so
mhm,
excited for you. Now, we obviously chose to work together. So when we
mhm.
first met, I think over social media, it was, I'm sure, how we connected. But when we first met, what piqued your interest and what was exciting about this program for you?
Well, before actually we talk, before I contact you, I saw your comment in one of the, I don't know where I saw you comment, but it was maybe one of my Facebook campaigns. And then I look into outside the Bachs and I started looking and the testimonials were actually really attracting me. And I think you put some testimonials like this one also
Mhm.
online. And I thought, why not? So, and I also, like any other client, I would say, hey, you know what? I want to ask some question. This, and this, and this, and this, and this. So then you give me the numbers, you explain to me a little bit of the program. And so I discuss that with my wife and say, you know what? Yeah, let's try it. Okay, let's give it a try. And again, as I said, I really don't regret it. Especially the testimonials were the more attractive of the program. So see how other people were doing it. Okay,
Absolutely.
that's one of it.
Absolutely. So now that we're talking about how well you're doing it and,
Mhm.
and what everything looks like for you, is this something that you would recommend for other people? And if so, who do you think is a good fit for this program?
I definitely recommend the program for other people. Definitely, definitely. But who I recommend this? I definitely would say somebody who, ah, if you want to build up your program, your studio, do definitely do so. But also, you need to be consistent and sometimes you need patience. That's what I recommend the program too. Try it because if you come to the program and you take breaks of the program like 1 or 2 months, this is not going to work. This is not going to work. I definitely would so. And even if you are outside of the United States, it's going to work for you if you are consistent. I know I'm not the only one. There are 2 or 3 more people outside of the United States in the program, and they're working and quite successful as well. So I definitely believe so that if you're consistent, but consistent, I mean, no breaks, working every month, every month, every month, you definitely would achieve your economic goals.
Fantastic. Absolutely. Consistency is king on all of these things, but especially when we're talking about building a business. And I think that's something that a lot of teachers don't always recognize is that this is a business. Like this isn't just teaching
Yes.
lessons out of your home or teaching lessons online. This is a thriving livelihood for a lot of music teachers. And so it's really
Mhm.
important that we take it that seriously and that you put that level of intensity behind your action and intention behind your action too, which you've
Mhm.
certainly done.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that recommendation. Thank you so much for sharing. Is there
Mhm.
anything else that you like, any parting words of wisdom or advice that you'd like to share for anyone that's kind of on the fence and thinking about this right now?
You know what? I can stop thinking about the times over these 8 months when things were high or low, high or low. And that's actually, there was a test for my patients. So that's my recommendation for everyone who's going to take the program. Be patient. Some months are very high. You get like 8 and 20 referrals. Some other ones are like none. And for example, I'm just coming out of a month that is a little bit low. I got basically no referrals, but now I'm start catching up again. You need to take, like you said, and it's right. So I take this as my business. This is my studio, but it's my business. That's why I need to learn, or I needed to learn how to say no to certain people, especially economic wise. So is this beneficial for me? It's not beneficial for me. Great. And then be patient and start building up. If you need to change something, do it. So do it and be patient and take the hard decisions. You will succeed. That's my advice.
Awesome. That's awesome. And I know you kind of talked about before, like taking breaks in the program. We've
Mhm.
obviously been working together for a while. So it's not like we've gone crazy 110% energy at all times for the last 8 months, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes we have a month where things are busy in your personal life and
Yes,
we take
sure.
that time. And last month was a good example of that, where we
Mhm.
aren't, going pedal to the metal constantly 24/7. But this is,
Mhm.
again, like we said at the very beginning, sustainable is the goal
Yes.
here. So that we don't just fill your studio once, but we keep it full and we keep that progress. And you've just done a wonderful job of that. So
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I've really enjoyed working with you. And thank you so much for being so open and willing to share today. I know everyone really appreciates that.
Thank you
If
for
people
inviting me.
were, oh, of course. If
Mhm.
people were excited about what you just said and all the great teaching tools and resources that you have
Mhm.
and what makes your studio unique, if they
Mhm.
wanted to learn a little bit more about you, where could they find you on the internet?
They can find me on piantastic.com, okay,
Mhm.
and or through my Facebook webpage, Piantastic as well. So you just put Piantastic over there. They can find more information over there. If they have any questions about my experience as well, I'll be happy to help them too.
You. I appreciate that so much. I really appreciate you sharing again. Thank you so much for your time and your energy today. Uh, thank you all for watching. I know this has been a really insightful interview, and thank you for taking the time to sit with us and listen. I will see you soon, Homero. Enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
Thanks to you and
Thank you so
happy
much.
for everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.